Hey there, Clear Lake peeps. Ross England with Clear Lake Guide Service with your Clear Lake report. Today is February 28th, 2025. Oh, another month pretty much shot in the butt. So I'm going to be wandering all over the place. So if you want a quick version, you might as well skip this thing. Let's talk about lake level. Lake level is there's so much stuff to talk about. I had to write it down and make notes to make sure I didn't forget anything. So lake level, believe it or not, has gone from a little over 8.1 down to 7.66. So it's dropped almost a half a foot this week. So I don't know if they're doing that in anticipation of some of the rain forecasts that are up ahead. It doesn't look like there's any significant storms coming through, but you know, when I think a couple of reports back I talked about the March forecast. There was only like 3 days of rain. Well, now there's forecasting like 17 days of rain. So who knows what's going to happen. But anyway, the lake's dropped almost a half a foot just this past week. The water temperatures, what I found is anywhere from starting point of 51.6 to a high of 56 is the warmest that I found, and that's in the areas that I covered, which were Lakeport all the way down through to Wheeler in the Redbud Arm. Got into the Rattlesnake Arm one day, but honestly I don't even remember what it was that day. So, and Bob covers that into the lake really well for you guys. So clarity, if I could show you here right now, standing on the creek bank, these creeks, with the exception of Rodman, have cleared up pretty well. I just had a bird land on my head. Here on the banks of Kelsey Creek, I can see about 4 feet. So what I saw running around the lake this week is a low in parts of Lakeport of about 1.5 to 2.5 feet down into the Redbud Arm midway, 3.5 to 4 foot of clarity. I know some people are talking about seeing 5 and 6 feet. I haven't seen any of that yet, but I haven't been all over the lake either, so it wouldn't surprise me. And with the good weather that we've had the past couple of days, the one thing that's certain about this lake is unless it gets super windy, it will clear up pretty doggone fast. So I don't know what we're going to be looking at as far as wind events come, but right now it's pretty doggone nice. Upcoming activities for this weekend: Saturday there's a Bass Angler Magazine kayak event that I believe is running out of Clear Lake Outdoors. Sunday, oh, and there's a Bass Federation permit pulled for the same day. Sunday, there's a Clear Lake Outdoors team open that you can get all the information from Dave there at Clear Lake Outdoors in Lakeport. Then going into next weekend, the 8th and 9th, I have permits pulled for ABA. Don't know if those are two different circuits or if it's one event. And then the following weekend, which is the 15th and 16th of March, you have the chamber tournament. So those are 3 weeks worth of stuff coming to give you an idea of what's happening. So that's that information. Fishing, boy, I'll tell you what, it's really kind of up and down. What I've experienced and what Jim has experienced when we fish together is we might go out and get a 20, we'll just call it a 20-pound plus bag on 7 to 12 fish, or we might get a couple of fish And I've been out with clients and we've had 20 fish days, but only 4 or 5 of them are 3-pound plus fish. So it's just kind of all over the board. I can tell you that there's been some really big fish caught. You know, I mean, you can look at the tournament results and understand that it's going to be a good spring. A lot of those winter tournaments where there was some really big bags, you know, 25 pounds didn't mean anything. It always means something, but it didn't get you paid. It's going to be that kind of a year. But I'm also talking to people who are fishing for a full day or 2 days and they're catching 2 fish, 3 fish, 4 fish. Don't come here with the understanding or the thought process that it's going to be easy and, you know, we're going to catch a big fish every day that we're out. It's a great time to come and target better fish if you have the patience and if you have the headset to just throw the bigger baits, concentrate in the areas where these better fish start showing up, and just be happy with the fact that you're fishing for them, and if you get a bite, you get a bite. If you're just running around, unless you just pull up on a little area, and these fish are schooled up. Bob has documented it a number of times where, you know, he thinks he can catch 100 fish in a day. I've hit a couple places where I've found, you know, 7, 8, 9 fish in a row and thought, yeah, okay, you know, you can probably do that if you get in the right spot. But I'll tell you what, 50 yards to the left of it, 50 yards to the right of it, you're not getting bit. So you need to cover a lot of water. There's fish on docks. There's fish moving into these areas around the creek mouths where traditionally they always move to. You know, the lake still just looks different because you have all these willows that have grown up all over the lake, in some cases covering up some of the places that you would normally want to be throwing underspins or swim baits or A-rigs, whatever. Just means these fish are going to be out a little bit deeper. You're going to have to change your tactics to go after them. But you know, this spring, which isn't here yet, but this spring I think there's going to be some really, really good fish show up. It's been a while. I don't know where they've been, but they're definitely showing up. It's going to be one of those deals where if you're a live bait fisherman, you're probably going to get back to the days of what used to happen, where you got a legitimate shot at a good fish. If you're, you know, if you like to throw swim baits, you like to throw A-rigs, you like to throw jerk baits. Those of you that like to flip as well, there's plenty of stuff to. I think it's going to be a really good spring. I think there's going to be a lot of big fish caught, and it may be your time to get your personal best, whether it's just coming up here and fishing by yourself, or, you know, fishing with one of the many guides who are available on the lake. And there's some guys who truly specialize in going after bigger fish. Paul Bailey is one of them. John Pearl is another one. Zach is another one. Mark Crutcher is guiding now, and he's got as good a chance to put you on a big fish as anybody. And Jeremy Taylor's got a really good track record with catching good fish. So I mean, there's a handful of them right there, and crud, there's another 7 or 8 or 9 guys who are guiding up here who can probably get you around a good fish. With regards to crappie, I'm seeing crappie, you know, on docks, you know, just running the Mega Live as I'm moving around. You know, I see a patch of crappie here, see a patch of crappie there. So I think what you're going to see is over the coming, if not now, over the coming weeks, you're going to start seeing these crappie move up on these little isolated tule patches in between the docks on the upper end of the lake. and especially as this water starts to clear up on the upper end, it'll be a little bit easier to catch. So as far as my guiding, you know, I've on a reduced schedule, but I do have some availability still in March and April. So, you know, if anybody wants to get out with me, easiest way is just to shoot me a text at 707-349-1427, and I'll get back to you. I respond to texts real quickly. I don't respond real well to phone calls. Or you can check out our website at clearlakeguideservice.com. You can actually go there, find an availability, and book a trip without talking to me if you don't want to. Although I never recommend that. I always would rather somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, you ought to have a conversation with your guide or prospective guide before you actually book a trip with them, just to make sure that everything is going to be, that you think you're going to fit together well. So that'll be about it for the day. It's, as you can see behind me, it's a beautiful day. Hopefully there'll be more of them, and hopefully this year you get a new PB.